Let's be honest, crafting is expensive. Let's talk about it. Hello everyone and welcome to Crafting with Delonda. It's me again, Delonda, and thank you so much for joining me today. As you can see, I'm sitting down. That means that I want to have a chit chat with you. Now, I'm not making anything today. I am sharing some advice for new crafters, and I really hope you do take the advice rather than leave it. Now, I'm going to go through all 10 pieces of my advice, and I'm saving 2 special pieces of my advice for the end of the video. At the end, if you find this helpful, please remember to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Now let's get started with number 1. If you are new to my channel, this is going to be new information for you. But if you're not, you've heard me say this before. My first piece of advice for new crafters is to get a craft journal. I did not think about it or know about it or have any knowledge about it when I first started crafting, and boy, do I wish I did. When I'm suggesting get a craft journal, please know that I am not suggesting that you get anything fancy. I have several craft journals. This is the first one I ever made. This is just printable vinyl with my picture. It just says crafting ideas that might lead to hammer time, because if you have been crafting, you know that every project is not fun. Sometimes it's going to be frustrating. And I just wanted something that would make me smile every time I opened it. But I would say having a craft journal will help you on your journey because it will help you keep track of tutorials, like what you've learned, where you learned it from. If you want to go back to that specific tutorial, who was the content creator. It'll help you keep track of times and temperatures for pressing vinyl or sublimation or a number of things. It will help you maybe even keep track of your inventory. It'll help you write down to-do lists or checklists for when you're going through a tutorial, like what's the first step, what comes next. It'll help you write down like maybe your wish list of things that you want to purchase and how much it cost and where you saw it, where was the cheapest place. It'll help you keep track of your favorite websites. You can use a craft journal for a variety of reasons. I have several craft journals. So like I said, this was my first one. And like this is one that I just purchased this and then I just added the stickers. This is one that I made with my cinch. I do have a tutorial here on my channel. Here's another craft journal that I started with. You know, I just kept going over and over again. I do not suggest you do that because it's hard to keep track of multiple journals and what you have in each one. But I do suggest that you have a journal to write down important things as you are getting into crafting. I do think it's a time saver. I do think it's also going to help you save money. It doesn't have to be fancy. This is a craft journal that I have also. It's just a spiral notebook that you can get these really cheap from even at a dollar store, and you can write down whatever you want to write. If you want to add tabs to it, you can do that. Like, so you just have one journal and you can like, here are my cardstock crafts, and these are my vinyl crafts, and this is my, sublimation crafts, and these are my, mug crafts and tumbler crafts or whatever, however you want to organize it. But I do think having a craft journal is going to be essential on your journey. All right, let's move on to tip number 2. My second piece of advice for new crafters is to take an inventory of all the subscriptions you have, like literally write them down line by line and write down how much you pay either annually or monthly, and then calculate all of that money, because I think you would be surprised at the amount of money you have actually going out every month or every year. Now, let's start with Cricut Access as an example. Let's just say, for example, you just purchased a Cricut, or you've had a Cricut for, a while now, and you are paying monthly for Cricut Access. Now, if you have a Cricut, please know that Cricut Design Space is the free software that comes along with owning a Cricut. However, many of the features, many of the newer features, the premium features are not included with just a basic Cricut Design Space user profile. In order to use like remove background or some of the like the sticker feature and some of the newer features that are available for Cricut Access members, you do have to either have a monthly subscription or an annual subscription. When I was looking at the Cricut website today, and please know I'm in the United States, so all of the amounts that I'm going to be sharing with you are what I've seen based on people who live in the United States. That's my dog Milo in the background. A monthly subscription to Cricut Design Space is $9.99 per month without tax. So if you were to calculate $9.99 times 12 is going to bring you right at about $119 and some change, which when you add in the tax is going to be over $120 per year. If you pay for Cricut Access annually, is right at about $95.88 per year. And once again, that's without tax. So if you were to just do a cost comparison with the monthly fee versus the annual fee, you'll notice that you'll be saving about $25 just by going the annual route instead of the monthly route. However, I know, because I'm a crafter too, that most of us don't just use Cricut Design Space. Some of us also have subscriptions that are outside of Cricut Access, like Creative Fabrica, which has a subscription plan, Design Bundles, which also has a subscription plan. Some of us purchase files from Etsy. Some of us have subscriptions to other content creators who have subscription plans. And some of us have subscriptions to Canva and StreamYard and Silhouette, like a lot of different software types. And there are so many that I could never name all of them. But if we were to really sit down and list out all of the subscriptions that we have and look at all of the money that's going out, I think that would put things in a good perspective for us and help us start to make better decisions about our money. Because as I stated in the intro, crafting is expensive. It's expensive. And I think a lot of times as crafters, we really overlook the amount of money that's going out every month, especially if we're not into sales. Because really, if you're not into sales and you're crafting as a hobby, all of your money is going out and you're not really getting anything in return. None of the money is coming back in if you're not making any sales. So I would advise you as a new crafter to really take an inventory of the subscriptions you have, kind of do like a list of pros and cons. Do you really need all of these software types? Do some of them serve the same purpose? Can you do without one or two? Like which ones are similar that you can get rid of, and which ones do you definitely need because you can't do without them and you're not going to find files like them anywhere else. Okay, so that's my second piece of advice. All right, let's move on to number 3. My third piece of advice for new crafters is going to sound a little bit like the opposite of what I just said about number 2. But my third piece of advice is don't be afraid to try new software. Don't be afraid to learn something new. Now, if you are anything like me, you are a person of a certain age and you might feel like, I'm tired of learning new stuff. I just want to do what I already know how to do, or do the things I've been doing. And the only problem with that is you are limiting yourself. There are new companies coming out all the time, new different types of software coming out all the time. And I'm not saying try all the things, but I am saying don't be afraid to try all the things. Don't limit yourself to, I just want to know Cricut Design Space. That is not good. And the reason why it's not good is because if you ever decide to cancel your Cricut Access membership, all of the stuff you've created is staying there. You can't take it with you. And a lot of the new software that's coming out now, or even software that's available right now currently, offers you the opportunity to create there, save your files, export them into other software types. And so you're not limited. You can create, you can save, you can export, you can download. The files belong to you. And that opens up the world of possibilities for what you can do as you're learning how to create designs. So now, in order to avoid having a lot of different subscriptions and a lot of different softwares and paying all this money, my advice to you about that is when a company is offering a free trial, give it a try. Take the free trial. If it's a 3-day free trial, set a reminder in your phone or on your calendar or somewhere that is going to give you a notification that your free trial is ending, and then end it if you don't like it. Like, actually take the time to use the free trial and learn and see if it's something that you like or something that you could get used to, something that makes you feel comfortable. And then if you like it, keep it. If you don't like it, don't, and you haven't lost anything. All right, let's move on to my advice number 4. I just figured it'd be better if I just put them right here on the camera so we could be here together. Here is my 4th piece of advice for new crafters. Like, really get good at one thing before you start jumping from thing to thing, because that is going to make you spend a lot more money and get more frustrated. That's going to be the effect of doing that. You're going to try something and it might not work out, and then you're just like, oh, I saw somebody doing resin, let me go try that. Oh, and I saw somebody doing rhinestones, let me go try that. And I saw somebody doing sublimation, let me go try that. And I saw somebody using printable vinyl, let me go try that. That is going to make you spend more money in the long run. And if you really think about it, if you're just jumping from craft to craft, you're really not getting good at anything. Okay, so I know it's going to be tempting, especially if you have a lot of content creators that you really like to, stay in tune with and connect with and watch, and you are subscribed and your notifications are on and everything, and you see them making all the things. Just know you're never going to be able to keep up with every single thing they do, and trying to do that will just make you go broke, and it might also frustrate you. So my advice about that is get good at one thing, focus on learning one thing, get really good at it, get good, so good that you're willing to even accept like feedback from others. Like, hey, how do you think I did on this? Like, find your people who are going to give you real, true, honest advice, and not just say that it looks good because they don't want to hurt your feelings. Okay. So that is going to lead me right into my 5th piece of advice. My 5th piece of advice is read the reviews. No matter where you're shopping from, there should be some reviews for the product. And I suggest, especially like if you're shopping from Amazon, that's where the bulk of my shopping is done. I suggest that you really take time to read the reviews. Now, I personally don't purchase anything that is less than 4.5 stars unless it's just the only one. But if there are multiple options, I'm not going to purchase anything that's less than 4.5 stars. But even within the 4.5 stars, I'm still paying attention to what the reviews are saying. Let's look at some as an example. Now, just recently, my son needed to purchase some white blank jerseys like this, and we were looking on Amazon to see if we could find some that would work. And this is one of the first options that came up. So we started to look at the reviews because 4.4, remember I said I really like to stay with 4.5, but let's see what customers have to say about this. So some people said it was a great price. This is an Amazon customer. They didn't leave a name, but it's a verified purchase. Okay, so they just said it was fast, it came fast, and the quality is great. All right, this one said that it's a great blank jersey. I normally wear extra large, made for slim athletes. So this kind of lets me know that the sizing is off a little bit. This person even left a photo. This one said great quality, Amazon customer, but what's your name, Amazon customer? Okay, I'm leery of Amazon customer. All right, this one is also a 5-star review. I ordered a large. It fits like an extra large. So this one is saying if it's big. All right, this one is saying they would recommend it. I returned it because they no longer needed it. Way too big and bulky. Ordered a size small. The sleeves came all the way down to my 7-year-old's hands with shoulder pads. Okay, so they gave 3 stars. This person gave 3 stars. Let me look at the review in English. Good condition. I don't know what they meant. All right, one person. This one says the size is run big. Let's look at more reviews. Extremely too large. Okay, so this lets me know that the people who aren't liking this jersey they're having a problem with the sizing. Like the size is not really true to size. This person said they were very disappointed. The item was a large, not a small, and it had a bad smell. The jersey was just really long. The sleeves were loose. Okay, so this lets me know why they have a 4.4 out of 5. And that gives me caution. Okay. So when I'm looking at reviews, I'm really, really paying attention to what people are saying and what, like if they're leaving a name or just initials or whatever. All right, let's look at Cricut. Let's look at some Cricut mats or just some standard grip cutting mats. All right, so let's look. These have a 4.7 rating out of 5. And okay, so that's not the Cricut brand. These have a 4.5, 4.7, 4.3, 4.4. So, and these are HTV Ront brand. These have a 4.8, 4.6, 4.7. Nakapa. Let's see what people said. Now, the price right here is not bad. And let's see what people had to say about these. See customer reviews. All right, let's see. Okay. So customers say, this is an AI generated from the text. So customers find these masks offer good value for the price. They work well and they're very durable. For cutting, opinions differ on their stickiness and durability. So people are saying, I bought these instead of Cricut. Great price. Look, these are actual names. These are names. All right. Favorite things. Trusty sidekicks, good durability, adhesive sticks to projects. So it has good adhesive. We know that. Great substitute. I only buy this brand. So these reviews are really good. You can even narrow your reviews to look at like what are the 1-star reviews saying? Like there's one, it doesn't stay sticky. I have opened brand new masks. They're just not sticky enough. Try several brands beyond the Crickets. Only one that has a major disappointment. Works if you aren't allergic to the adhesive. So no comment about that. Don't fall for the green. It is not Cricut. Well, the name doesn't say Cricut on there anyway, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so you get my grip. You get my drift that you really should pay attention to what the reviews say, not just looking at the price. The price matters, but the reviews matter also. My 6th piece of advice is don't be in a rush to go into sales. Please take your time with this. Now, if you have had great success and you have perfected a thing and you are ready to go into sales, now please know you are entering into a business transaction. And when someone has their money involved, the game changes altogether. So that person who may have been your friend, now this is really not, we're not talking about friendship, because once their money is introduced, I promise you, most people expect whatever they pay for to be perfect. And feelings could easily get hurt because, you know, you have worked hard to make that thing that they have paid you for, and it may or may not be perfect. And when your friend, or if your friend has to tell you like, hey, you know, I see that something is not right here, or it's not perfect right here, your feelings could get hurt. But just know, once money is involved, the game is changed. So I definitely say pack your patience when it comes to going into sales. I'm not saying don't go into sales. I'm saying don't be in a rush to go into sales until you're sure that you can produce a quality project or a quality product. Remember, perfection is overrated, but it doesn't feel that way when you are paying the money or when somebody has paid you for an item. My seventh piece of advice, and I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat this. It may feel overwhelming, but it is so important for you to find a way to organize your files. When you are purchasing files and downloading files or downloading fonts and all of these, files that you're going to need for your crafts, it is so important for you to have them organized in a way that makes sense to you. Now, I'm going to demonstrate a way that you may or may not like, and you can take a part of it or only take the part that you think will work for you. But I think it's important for you to find a way to have your files organized so that when it's time to craft, you're not spending 30 minutes trying to find the file. Now, there are multiple ways to do just about everything. So I'm just going to show 2 different ways, and maybe one of them will work for you. Let's get into it. All right, I am on the Creative Fabrica website, and I just did a search for Highland cow. And so what I'm going to do is, let's say I wanted to download this one right here, one bougie heifer Highland cow, right? And let's just say I think it's so cute and I want to download this, right? What I would do is click download, and of course I would have to click it again. So I would click on the download option. I click here. I'd click the option to extract the file. I would click browse. And what I would do, because I'm giving you this as an example, is I would go to my desktop and I might create a folder that's just Creative Fabrica Highland cows, right? So these are just my Creative Fabrica Highland cows. I'm going to click select. So I could click here on select folder. I could click extract. And so now the file is going to go into the folder that's on my desktop called Creative Fabrica Highland Cows. So if I just minimize this right here, and where's my Creative Fabrica Highland Cows on my desktop, I can open it up right here. Okay. So if I wanted to create folders within this one was called One Bougie Heifer. So I could click new folder, and let's call it One Bougie Heifer, like that. And I can put this folder, just drag it into the folder, right? So now if I go back to the Creative Fabrica website, and let's say I wanted to find a different cow. Let's say I wanted this one right here, Christmas red truck with Highland cow, right? And let's say I love this folder. I love this file. It's just so great. I could click download, and then I could click it, download again, click right here, and I would extract this. I would click browse, and still going to my desktop is going to go to my Creative Fabrica Highland Cows file folder. I'm going to click open because I want to open this up, and I'm going to call this a new thing, right? I'm going to call this one exactly what it's called, Red Cow I'm not going to call it Xmas. I'm going to call it Christmas Truck. Okay. And I'll click select folder and extract. And so now it's still going to be on my on my desktop in that same folder. Here's my Creative Fabrica files right here, my Highland Cow folder, and both of the folders are here. And if I wanted to add another folder, I could just keep going just like that. Now let's just say I wanted to have a file that's just all cows, Highland cows. I could do that. Or if I went back to the Creative Fabrica website or wherever I'm downloading from, I could be downloading from Etsy. I could have a folder just filled with Etsy files. I could have a folder with all design bundles files, right? I could have a folder that's all Christmas files. Let's just do a search for Christmas sublimation. Let's do that, Christmas sublimation. And let's see what comes up, right? So I can look right here and see if there's anything that stands out to me. Look at this plaid Christmas sublimation quotes. I think it's great. I can click download, and once it comes up here on the right corner of my computer, once it finishes downloading right here, I would click the option to extract it. I click it, I'll let it finish doing what it's doing. It's going to take a few more seconds, and I can click extract and browse, and I'm still going to my desktop. But this time, instead of going into my Creative Fabrica Highland Cows folder, I can create a new folder, and I can just call it Creative Fabrica Christmas Files. And I can right click and open the folder because I want to have a folder within the folder. And so in here, I can create a new folder and call it exactly what I see right here, which is plaid Christmas sublimation quotes. And I can click select folder right here, click it again, and extract. And now all of the files within that bundle will be extracted to the folder that I saved on my desktop. So if I click here, the files are extracted. They're all in here. If I double click on this folder, I should be able to open this up and see all of the files that are inside the folder. Okay, so that is one way of organizing the files. I can organize them by holiday or date or website or whatever, but hopefully you find that helpful. Let's move on to tip number 8. Now, hopefully so far I have shared 7 of my very best tips with you and you found this helpful. If you did, don't forget to go ahead and like the video and subscribe to this channel if you haven't done that already. Now back to our regularly scheduled program. My 8th piece of advice is to not only organize your files, but find a way to back up your files. Now, as a new crafter, you might not have experienced this yet, but very quickly you will become inundated with files that you've purchased, files that you've downloaded, files that have been shared with you. And not only do they need to be organized, but they also need to be backed up just in case your computer crashes or something, God forbid your computer would crash or, something would happen to your computer, is destroyed in some way. At least you would have your files backed up and you wouldn't have to start all over again. Now, I'm not advocating for you to get this exact external hard drive, but I am advocating for you to have some kind of way to back up your files. Now, my son purchased this for me 2 Christmases ago, and I have not opened it yet, but I do have other external drives. I do suggest having a way to back up your files. Now, all you would do is the same way I put all those folders and files on my desktop. You would connect this to your computer and you would just drag the files over to your external drive. Now, I will leave a link below for you to check out other external drives that I've tried or others that I like or that I would recommend. I can't recommend this one because I haven't used this one before. All right, so let's move on. We are getting very, very close to the end, but don't forget to stay tuned for my 2 additional tips that I'm sharing with you. Let's move on to tip number 9. Y'all, we are at tip number 9. Tip number 9 is find your crafting friends. And I know you might be wondering, what is this girl talking about? I have friends and none of them are crafters. I'm not talking about your friends who you see every day. I'm talking about your online community of crafting friends. Those people are going to be like family before you know it. My advice is that you just find the right people. Find the right group that seems to be aligned with you. You might find a group who is filled with beginners. You might find a group who has a combination of beginners and experts. You might find a group that is just compatible with you because of the specific craft. You might have to find multiple groups. And what do I mean by that? I mean, you might have a go-to group when you are working on rhinestones, and there might be a go-to group for embroidery, or there might be a go-to group for sublimation. Whatever your craft is, find the group who is going to support you, encourage you, give you honest feedback in a way that is not too critical, feedback in a way that is going to help you grow as a crafter and help you get better at your craft, not just give you fluff like, oh, that looks great, when it really doesn't. Like, people who are going to encourage you in a way that doesn't make you want to quit. Piece of advice is, if you are working on a project, and let's say you've seen it through to completion, you finished the whole thing and you watched a tutorial and yours doesn't turn out like the person you were watching. Let's say you were watching somebody, make a wreath, and your wreath looks nothing like theirs. I want you to really know and understand that when you're watching a video, 9 times or 10 times out of 10, that video, if it's a recorded tutorial, that video is so highly edited that it'll make you think that you're watching someone who is just perfect. And it'll make you feel like you just need to quit crafting because yours is not perfect the first time you tried it. I promise you, in most cases, the person you're watching, theirs wasn't perfect either, but they weren't willing to share their mistakes with you. Be careful about watching anyone who never makes a mistake and everything is just always perfect, because that's just not reality, not in crafting. Well, it's not my reality in crafting. My crafts, it's very rare that something turns out perfect. And I think that as you go along on your crafting journey, it's so easy to get discouraged when you're watching a video and you've tried everything and you're wondering, like, why didn't yours turn out like theirs? Well, number one, you're watching an edited video. That's a part of it. But there are other factors, right? So they might have a different heat press than you. They might be using different ink than you. They might have a different printer than you have. They might have a different software than you have. They might have a different material fabric than what you have. There are so many factors that come into play when you are watching a video and you're trying to make something that you've seen someone else make. So don't beat yourself up if yours doesn't turn out exactly like theirs. My biggest and most important piece of advice is that you just don't quit. I don't really know of any project that I've quit. I cannot quit. And if I've quit something, it's because I have tried 100 things. It takes a lot to make me quit a thing because I don't like to feel defeated. So, you're going to need some perseverance as you go along the way. Yes, it's going to be frustrating. Sometimes you have to laugh to keep from crying. Sometimes it's just like best to just go walk away and take a break and come back to it. There might even be a few times where you might need a beverage. And that's perfectly fine if you're an adult. Okay? All right. So hopefully you have found these 10 pieces of advice helpful. If you did, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the bell for notifications because I do upload new content every single week. Thank you so much for joining me today, and thanks for watching. Bye. All right, my 2 bonus pieces of advice. This is not 2, this is 4. My 2 bonus pieces of advice. Number 1, if you have multiple printers, I highly, 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 highly recommend that you get a USB port that will allow you to keep all of your printers connected to your computer at one time. I currently have 3 printers that are directly connected to my printer, and I keep them connected at all times. So I don't have that problem of the paper not printing all the way or getting half prints and, you know, the image not being, I don't have that problem because my printer is always directly connected. I don't rely on a Wi-Fi connection for printing images. So if you've had a problem with, you know, your printer will start a print job and it'll just get halfway through, I suggest getting a USB port. I have this one that you see right here on the screen. I will make sure it is linked below the video. Now, the cart that I have my printers on, it really was intended to be used in a kitchen, but I use it to hold my printers. It's worked great. It has been out of stock for a very long time. I will still link it below just so you can see it if you find something similar to it, in case, you know, you want to use something similar to what I have. All right. My second bonus piece of advice, if you are currently saving up for sublimation, like you know that you want to get started with sublimation and you know it's going to be a big startup and, you know, with the printer and the ink and all the stuff, if you are in the process of saving up for those things right now, get your craft journal out, start watching tutorials so you will be prepared so that when you do have the money, you'll also have the knowledge. So I don't think you should save up and get the printer and then start learning, right? Start learning now so that when you have the printer, you'll be ready to go. All right. Hopefully you found this helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today. See you in the next one. Bye.